Mr. Brock, you have the floor for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Moore, I am so grateful you're actually part of a panel with the Auditor General. In fact, you're sitting right next to Mr. Hayes, the Deputy Attorney General, Auditor General, I should say. Now, last week, about a week ago, exactly a week ago, I asked you a question. You couldn't answer the question. I want to know why you deliberately, your agency, the CBSA, not you personally, why the CBSA deliberately misled and lied to the Auditor General when saying that GC Strategies actually provided a proposal for the initial contract to work with the CBSA. That's what the CBSA confirmed to the Auditor General. The Auditor General confirmed that, in fact, that was false. So here's your opportunity to come clean to Canadians and to members of this committee. You, as a representative of the CBSA, why did you mislead the Auditor General?
So as a representative of the CBSA, I do not believe the CBSA did mislead the Auditor General. There were different choices at that time, and one of the choices was to have an in-house developed project using staff augmentation, which is the GC Strategies.
I'll stop you right there. Are you suggesting the Auditor General simply got it wrong? They looked for a proposal on the initial contract with CBSA that you said you had in your possession from GC Strategies, and they confirmed it wasn't there.
Well, I think what you're referring to is missing documentation, which I think has been subject to a number of different inquiries. Lots of different people have been looking for the documentation, and that is also part of the investigation to see whether the documentation is missing because of COVID or because of some
Okay,
other reason.
GC Strategy, specifically Mr.
COVID?
When he attended a few weeks ago, refused to answer questions regarding his involvement in the $25 million IT service contract, stating that responding to that question would somehow jeopardize the RCMP investigation. So, we know through the Auditor General's report that I'm sure that you have read that GC, Government of Canada Strategies, was directly involved in the drafting the narrow terms of that $25 million IT service contract.
Point of
Just
order,
one
Chair.
second, Mr. Brock. Yes, Ms. Shanahan?
Yeah, it's just on this Government of Canada that Mr. Brock is referring to. Is this an official name? I'm just
That's
I'm just
not a
confused.
point.
It's GC Strategy.
Ms. Shannon, that's not a point of order. If the witness is seeking clarity, they're entitled to ask, but not members. Mr. Brock, I don't know if you want to ask your question again. I'll give you time if you do. So
That's fine.
Please do.
For Ms. Shanahan's benefit, it was actually Mr. Firth himself who confirmed that the GC stands for Government of Canada. Not my words. Your witness, Ms. Shanahan, Mr. Firth. So, Mr. Firth, through GC Strategies, created their own terms, drafted their own contract, which surprisingly they actually won. 25 million tax dollars, Canadian taxpayer dollars. Who at CBSA allowed that to happen?
Well, I think, as I've said previously, it is unacceptable for...
No, sir, I know it's unacceptable. Everyone knows it's unacceptable. You're the one responsible, you're accountable for this mess. You're accountable for failures. Now provide us some answers. Who at the CBSA, I want names and I want positions, allowed Government of Canada Strategies to draft their own contract worth 25 million taxpayer dollars? Name, sir.
Well, that is, as I've said before, it's the Board of Technologies and Innovation Directorate which were responsible for that.
Give me a name. Not a department, give me a name.
Well, the DG is Mr. MacDonald, and the Executive Director was Mr. Utano. They were responsible for drafting that statement of work.
Are you saying it was Mr. MacDonald and Mr. Utano who allowed GC Strategies to write their own contract? Is that your evidence?
I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying that's what...
That's the question I'm putting to you, sir. How more simpler can I phrase it? Who at CBSA allowed this to happen?
I've taught Miss Khalid. What is your point of order?
With the years of experience we've had, we treat our witnesses with a little bit more respect than what Mr. Brock is
That's not a point
treating
of
our
order.
witnesses as right now.
That is not a point of order. Mr. Brock is trying to get an answer and is becoming, I think, rightly frustrated the way a lot of Canadians are. Mr. Brock, you have the floor again.
Mr. Moore, let's not play games. The question is simple. Who, give me a name, at CBSA allowed Government of Canada Strategies to write their own contract, which they won, $25 million. Give me names, please.
Well, I think as I've already given you names, but they're...
And I asked you, you gave me names, you gave me Mr. McDonald, Mr. Utano. I asked you, are they responsible for allowing GC to write the contract? You said no. So the question now is, sir, who at CBSA allowed it?
I said I do not know because it is under investigation, and that is a key part of investigation internally.
How could you not know?
Point of order
How could
again,
you not
Mr.
know,
Chair.
sir?
Just 1 second, Mr. Brock. Yes, Miss Khalid.
This is a point of order on decorum. The witness has said time and time again he does not know there is ongoing investigations.
It's not
Why
a point
are we
of order.
badgering a witness?
Again, that is not a
Please,
point of
Chair.
order, Chair.
That is absolutely a
That
point
is
of
not a
order,
point
Chair.
I
This
thought-
is about
well,
decorum.
Miss Khalid, Mr. Brock's question was simple. Why don't you know? That's what that was his question. It seems to be a
Chair.
valid question. You might not like how it's posed.
I'm so sorry, Chair. I didn't know you became an agent for the Conservatives
Wow.
there, but
He's a Conservative
I'm asking you,
MP,
to
but-
be fair, he's also the chair of this committee, which begs of him
That was
to
MP
be
Barrett for sure.
nonpartisan in his deliberations in
doesn't.
how we
No, it
operate as a
doesn't.
committee. Yes, it does.
Yes, Ms. Khalid,
Yes, it
and I'll
does.
point out I've had my share of Conservative MPs who have whinged at some of the decisions I've made as well. So when I get it
Chair,
from both sides,
am
I find
quite
myself
tired of
right in the
this
position I need to be.
unparliamentary
Ms.
behavior.
Khalid, Mr. Brock has the floor. His question was, why don't you know? That question is in order. Mr. Brock, you have about 40 seconds left.
So you can ask for 6 minutes the same question.
Okay, hold on. Miss Khalid, the more you talk, the more time. I'm going to start. The more you talk, the more time Mr. Brock has because you're running into his time to get questions going back and forth. So, Mr. Brock, you have the floor for 40 seconds.
Thank you, Chair. And I won't be silenced by Ms. Khalid or Ms. Shanahan or anyone on that Liberal bench because these are relevant questions that Canadians want to know an answer to. So I'll ask it again for the 5th time, sir. Why do you not know who in particular allowed GC to write the terms of their own contract, given your position at the CBSA?
Yeah,
and the
like,
question
seriously.
can go to Mr. Vleming as well. Why do you not know?
Actually, Mr. Hayes has helped me with the chronology in that Mr. MacDonald actually left the CBSA on the 23rd of April 2021, and the first competitive contract awarded to GC Strategies was on the 16th of May 2022. It is still subject to review of the independent of the investigations. Once that has
The investigation run by Mr. Lafleur.
Mr. Brock, your time is up.
The
I'm
RCMP
afraid
are
I
also
will.
looking at this issue.
I will come back to.